Okay, so 5 pillars of testosterone. So it's basically just 5 kind of lifestyle things to enhance your test and just keep general health. Um, you can't really separate testosterone, cardiovascular health, health of your brain. They all interact. Um, so yeah, do these 5 things as best you can. You'll always slack in one and improve in another. I mean, if you can get all 5 on point, then you're gonna feel pretty fucking good. So we'll jump into it. So the 5 pillars: sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and environment. And I'll explain how to kind of modify each of these. So yeah, sleep. So ideally an earlier bedtime. Obviously that's to enhance like melatonin release, and it's just generally hormonal wise better for your body, better for repair and recovery. Obviously I didn't put it there, it's pretty obvious, but get a full 8 hours at least. Don't eat 2 hours before bed. Again, just you want to get your body into repair and recovery mode. No light 30 minutes before, ideally an hour. And I know people use blue light blockers and things like that, but it's best to minimize light entirely, especially don't have like bright lights. That's probably might be the worst. Static stretching, meditation, deep breathing, I meant to put there. So all of those things can help you relax. They lower your blood pressure. Static stretching has been shown to do that quite well. So yeah, things that just enhance the function of your parasympathetic, your relax type of nervous system. No caffeine after 4 p.m. Caffeine, I don't know if you're like me, I can't drink it after that time. It stays in my system. I mean, it does have a half-life of about 8 hours, I think. So for me, definitely no caffeine after 4. Melatonin and magnesium. Melatonin is one of those things, it's illegal in the UK. You can get it in most other countries, but for some reason it's illegal here. I'll put down below some research by a guy called Russel Reiter. He's a guy from Texas. Basically discovered some things about melatonin. So there isn't really much downside to taking melatonin. According to him, what people say is that it stops you producing it yourself, and because it's synthetic, that it's bad for you for some reason. He basically debunks this. Magnesium, good for inflammation, again, helping you relax. Vital for many functions in the body. Cooler room going to bed and warmer waking up. There's a lot of expensive gadgets now you can buy, but you can kind of modify that, like, using windows and clothing. Don't keep your phone in your room. So it's pretty bad to keep your phone in your room. I mean, if you have the discipline not to check it, but I remember at one point I was waking up. I realized I was waking up just to check my phone. My body was waking me up. So keeping it in another room. Sunlight viewing, morning and at sunset. Huberman opened my eyes to this, but yeah, it wakes you up and helps you get ready for bed. So if you live in the UK, you're getting grey skies all the time, but if you're getting light, that's the main thing. You just have to get a bit longer exposure if it is not too bright outside. Diet, so moderate calories, so not too many, not overeating, and not too little. Probably too little will tank your testosterone the most. So staying lean. Obviously too lean again would be, you'd obviously be underweight, but you don't want too much adipose tissue, some fat, because it stores estrogen and releases it into your blood. Get most of your fat from olive oil / Mediterranean diet. Me personally, that's what I like to follow. Works best for me. Try and limit my fat, because high fat diets are shown to damage the testicles. And again, you want fat, you don't want no fat. Again, it's more about balance, but I like to get most of my fat from olive oil, which itself has been shown to improve testosterone. Mediterranean diet, I tend to follow to a degree, and I just find that works best for me. Again, maybe my genetics, but there's a lot of stuff nowadays about carnivore, high fat diet, but it's not for me. Plenty of cruciferous vegetables like kale, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. They basically help mop up excess estrogen in your body. And I believe it's a function of a compound called indole 3-carbinol. So yeah, chop them up, leave them for a bit, try not to cook them. And very beneficial. Plenty of herbs and spices, garlic, parsley, cinnamon, ginger. These are all have quite powerful protective effects on the testicles. So yeah, organic where possible. You can look at a list called the Dirty Dozen, which will show you which foods are more likely to be contaminated. For example, strawberries are usually high on the list. Things like broccoli, fairly low, because they just don't get affected by pests as much, I guess. Low in processed foods, that's obvious. Also, processed food usually packaged in toxic containers or packaging that contains BPA or other chemicals. And the thing with processed foods, most people say, oh, sugar's bad. It's not actually sugar. If you look in a lot of cakes, chocolates, biscuits, there's more calories from fat. So you're getting fat and sugar, excess calories, empty calories, no nutrition. Yeah, so I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, but just don't eat them every day. And if that's the majority of your diet, shit, you better fix that, boy. Exercise. So yeah, that was probably following that to a T. This is probably me at my leanest, doing a lot of boxing, no injuries. So I was training pretty hard. So yeah, you want to incorporate all types of training. So resistance, stretching, aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic being low intensity, anaerobic being high intensity. You need both for a well-developed cardiovascular system. Static stretching gets a lot of knock, but it's good at reducing blood pressure. It does get you more flexible. So especially if you're all martial artists do static stretching, all flexible ones. 2 hours a day would be a sweet spot for me. 1 hour at least, and you mix that up, intense days, few intense days, and then some easier days. Pick an activity-based sport like learning to fight, and all that kind of competing. These all go in together with whatever you do. It could be dance, it could be tennis, whatever. There's the competition element, there's the kind of camaraderie element. This all kind of works well for your hormones, not just testosterone, but mental health, and that then therefore affects the rest of your body, inflammation, etc., etc. Plus learning to fight, that's one of the best things you can do. You don't have to actually go in the ring and fight, but at least do a little bit of sparring, feel what that feels like, and then continue. If you don't want to get hit, you can just go to a grappling based sport. So stress management, that's a picture from the film Falling Down. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, but I don't recommend you do that to relieve stress. He basically goes on a rampage. But yeah, meditation, breathing exercises, bringing that sympathetic system down, bringing your blood pressure down, focusing on one thing at a time. That's the best way, especially for procrastinators like myself. Just focus on one thing and attack it, and then move on to the next one. Get outside, get in the sun, get your vitamin D. Again, all great things for your mental health and physical health. Environment. So avoiding microplastics, chemicals. I'm going to be doing a video on how to avoid these kind of things. But yeah, don't pollute the environment. Clean your house regularly. Get rid of dust, because all these things contain toxic chemicals. Wash your hands, because all these chemicals, they go on your hand. You go to the toilet. It's better probably to wash your hands before and after you go to the toilet, so you don't transfer all these chemicals to your penis. And what I mean by that is like estrogenic chemicals, microplastics. They go on your skin, they get absorbed. So yeah, you should care about environment and climate change if you're worried about your testosterone and reproductive health, because they go hand in hand. A bad environment comes right back to us. You can't live in a polluted environment and not absorb those kind of plastics and chemicals. And then we've got fish being found with two sets of genitals, like female and male, and just being feminized. Marine biologists have known this for decades, but now it's coming to the forefront a bit, and we're realizing we're starting to, feel the effects of this. So yeah, just a quick rundown. So follow those best you can, and you'll do a lot to improve your health. If you've got any questions or requests, just drop them down below. So yeah, I'll be breaking these down in a lot more detail and going through them a bit more nuanced next time. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one.